Hi, my name is Brandy M. Miller, and when I was just 7 years old, my mother picked me up from school. It was an unusual thing for her to do. I was a latchkey kid, and normally we walked home from school, but that day she picked me up and she brought me home and she stopped in the driveway and she asked me, she said, if anybody has been touching you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable or that you don't like, it's okay. You can tell me. And with that invitation, I proceeded to inform her that my stepfather had been teaching me to perform oral sex on him. My mother didn't say anything after I finished telling her my story. She just thanked me and let me get out of the car and into the house. Nothing changed. Nothing happened. Until 3 weeks later when my stepfather came back home. And I was alone in the den. And he cornered me. And I was absolutely terrified because he had this leather belt that he liked to use. And the man enjoyed terrifying us. You could see it in his eyes. But that day, when he approached me, he didn't take off the belt like I was so afraid he was going to do. In fact, what he did was he told me that if I ever talked again, that he would go to jail. And my mom and my sister and my brother and I, we'd all be out on the street. So I could never, ever talk again. I could never tell my story again. But that told me the most important thing I needed to know. I saw fear in his eyes that day. And that, my friends, is the truth. This man was 180 pounds. I was 65 pounds, maybe soaking wet. But that 185-pound man was afraid of me, afraid of my story. And he was afraid enough that he didn't use that belt on me that day. He tried to use his words to bully me into silence. And if he was afraid of me talking, well then my story was the only way we were going to get out of the situation we were in. And it took me 2.5 more years and plenty of people along the way, telling my story to them and getting them ignoring me, trying again with the next person, getting them ignoring me, and eventually going back to my mother before that story changed my life. But it did. When I was 9.5 years old, in August, my mother took the story finally to the police. Finally, the man who had been molesting me, and it turns out my brother and sister as well, was put in prison. He stopped being able to abuse me, my sister, my brother, any other kids in the neighborhood. Who knows how many lives that touched? I will never know. But I do know this. Our family was able to heal because I had the courage to share my story, because I had the courage to persist in telling that story, even after I was threatened with homelessness and starvation. Your story has power, and it needs to be heard. And if you're not telling your story, you're doing the world an injustice. This is my message to you. Step up, step out, make your voice heard. Stop living in the shadows and let yourself be heard. Thank you for listening and have a great day.